Imagine you've spent more than a decade building a career, only to see it all threatened, literally overnight, by something that's a complete and total fabrication. Well, that's exactly what happened to the South Korean actor Lee Yi Kyung. And the weapon used against him? It wasn't just a simple rumor, it was a sophisticated lie powered by artificial intelligence. His story is, frankly, a huge warning for every single one of us. And that's really the big question here, isn't it? How can one anonymous post, armed with AI, almost bring down an entire career? This whole story is about what happens when technology, deception, and fame collide. And it shows just how unbelievably fast a reputation can be attacked in our digital world. So let's get into how this all unfolded for Lee Yi Kyung. Okay, so this whole thing started with a shocking claim that just appeared out of thin air. And you could tell it was designed to do as much damage as possible, as quickly as possible. It all kicked off on October 19th. An anonymous user, hiding behind the persona of a German woman, drops what looks like this massive exposé. And that identity wasn't random, right? It was chosen to make her seem credible. You know, like an outsider who had nothing to gain from local celebrity drama. And here's why it was so effective. The accuser didn't just make a claim, she posted what looked like real digital proof. We're talking screenshots from popular Korean messaging apps like KakaoTalk and Instagram. This so-called evidence was just packed with suggestive content, perfectly engineered to go viral. And boy, did it ever. It spread like wildfire across online forums. Well, the response was immediate. Lee Yi Kyung's agency, Sangyong ENT, did not waste any time. They came out with a very firm, clear denial and put the accuser on notice right away, basically saying we will be taking strong legal action and there will be no leniency. But this is where things get even crazier. Instead of backing down after being threatened with a lawsuit, the accuser doubles down. She actually accuses the agency of lying, and then, to really escalate things, she releases a supposed video verification of the actor's account. The whole situation was just getting more and more serious by the minute. And then, just as the controversy was hitting its absolute peak, the entire story just collapsed. The truth that finally came out was, honestly, more bizarre than anyone could have possibly imagined. Just look at this timeline to understand how fast all of this happened. The accusation hits on October 19th. Just 3 days later, on the 22nd, a full confession comes out. By the beginning of November, the police are involved, and there's major news breaking about his career. We're talking about a career-threatening crisis that played out in a little over 2 weeks. It's insane. And this was the confession. The accuser admitted everything. It all started as a joke. A joke. She then reveals that all her evidence was just AI-generated images. But the part that really gives you chills is what she says next. I began to believe it myself. That one sentence shows you the truly terrifying power of this technology. Now, for anyone who's not familiar, this is the tech at the center of this story. AI can now create incredibly realistic, convincing photos. People often call them deepfakes, completely from scratch. It can make up fake conversations, put people in places they've never been, and create digital proof of things that are pure fiction. This was the weapon that fueled the entire hoax. So, with the truth finally out in the open, the whole focus shifted immediately. The conversation went from people being suspicious of the actor to being absolutely outraged at the accuser. And that's when the legal gears really started to turn. The public backlash was just intense. You could see it all over the online comments. The sentiment was pretty much universal. You ruined someone's life as a joke. People weren't just mad. They were genuinely alarmed. They recognized that AI manipulation is a serious crime. There was overwhelming support for the agency's legal threats, with so many people demanding that this case set an example for this new era of AI misinformation. And the agency absolutely made good on its promise. On November 3rd, they formally filed a complaint with the Gangnam police station. This wasn't just talk. They were going after real legal consequences for defamation and for spreading false information. So his name is cleared, but the damage is out there. What happens next? I mean, how does a career even recover from an attack like that? Well, let's take a look at the next chapter for him professionally. You know, despite the unbelievable stress of being publicly attacked like this, Lee Yi Kyung just kept working. It was confirmed that he continued his hosting duties on the super popular reality show I'm Solo, filming as scheduled right in the middle of all this chaos. That really says something about his professionalism. Now, right around this time, news also came out that he was leaving the big variety show Hangout With You. But insiders were very clear. This decision had absolutely nothing to do with the scandal. It was because of scheduling conflicts with his acting work, which was just blowing up and getting harder and harder to balance.
And you can see exactly why his schedule was getting so packed. He wasn't retreating. He was moving forward. He had just finished one film, was getting ready for a role in a Vietnamese movie, and, this is a big one, he was cast as the male lead in Dream Stage, which is a major drama co-produced by Korea and Japan.
So far from derailing his career, the aftermath of this whole mess has actually seen him double down on his main passion, acting. He's successfully managing his variety show fame with a growing international acting career, proving how resilient he is and really solidifying his reputation as a truly versatile entertainer. And that brings us to our final thought. The Lee Yi Kyung story is so much more than just celebrity drama. It's a cautionary tale for our time, a high-profile example of a problem that's going to affect all of us sooner or later. When the very evidence our eyes see can be faked so convincingly, it leaves us with a really critical question. How do we find the truth in a world where seeing is no longer believing?